We've had Märklin, we've had Pico. That means Roco is left. Let's see what they've got to offer in 2025 after the titles. Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, Train Outside the Märklin Outsider, back with another First Impressions video, this time the Roco 2025 new items. So let's jump right into it and see. On the cover, we've got one of Switzerland's double-decker high-speed trains, so I assume that is one of the offerings this year. And celebrating 65 years of what's called the Freilassing Edition, the Queen of Berchtesgaden, a 144.5. So clearly the 502. All these beautiful pictures, but let's see the model. All right, so here we go, an 8-piece set of the RAB 502. Which will be available in a DC, basically analog version, digital, and a 3-rail with sound. So they break it up. We're going to start seeing some of the steam locomotives first. So Roco is an Austrian company, so no worries. They're going to start off with quite a few Austrians. We got a Class 77 and a Class 50, both looking very sharp. A Czech Class 354 and a 4-piece set, as well as an auxiliary passenger coach to go with it. And a Württemberg locomotive here. We've got a Class 31 along with a 5-piece express train set cars to go with it. That's kind of a cool looking loco. So some nostalgia they're talking about here. So we got a Class 89 and a 3-piece branch line set. It's kind of small, obviously serves its purpose, but a little small. And here we have a Class 38. And 2 conversion coach sets, 2-piece sets. So I assume you put the 2 together and you run it with that logo. All right, here are some very interesting classics. I do like this one on the top, the Class 10, and I do like that color. And then a Class 043 below it, nicely detailed. And anybody who doesn't know, I am a big fan of Roco. They're my second favorite company after Märklin, despite this year's, or last year's, recall of their night jet. So we've got another couple of variations of the Class 86, 086, or just straight up 86. I actually stop and look at how are these 2 models distinguished, and just some bits on the lettering and just some little bits on the top. And another Class 38. And anybody who knows me, I'm not huge into steam, but I've got a ton of steam locomotives all of a sudden. So 2 more sets of branch line cars to go with it. And a Class 35, and here is a Class 01. Obviously, the Class 01s are one of the big steam locomotives of Germany, and it's, you know, somebody makes one almost every year. So Märklin is releasing a really high-end one this year, and now we see that Roco is releasing one. I do not know my steam classes. I know certain ones by name, but overall, I do want a Class 01. I've got one, which is my Christmas train, but I want one without the Christmas stuff on it. Class 95. And a Hungarian Class 302. That's a little different. And a set of Hungarian coaches to go with it. So, Hungarians, you're not being forgotten. Artie, if you're watching. And a Polish OK1 coming up. And again, they have these pages. You can pause and read these. Polish OK1 360 and a 3-piece set to go with it. This would be 50s and 60s. Or I'm sorry, this would be late 60s into 70s. Class 4, Era 4. Oh, that one's kind of sharp. The TY2. Very cool. And then a Dutch Class 23. All right, so that was it for steamers. Quite a varied collection. Very cool. Let's get to the electrics. Now you're getting more into my realm. An Austrian Class 1041, a classic, as well as, don't want to call it a crocodile, but a variation, the 1020. Blood orange, they call that color. And a Class 1245. These are all relative classics in the Austrian train world. The Arlberg Express, Austrian-Swiss mix. So it ran from Vienna to Paris, the Arlberg Express. So you got a 1044 to pull it. And there's the Roco cars to go with it. And then some extension cars. Should make a very cool set. Here's the Italian cars, which I find very interesting because they look similar to the Italian cars I picked up from her. I'm sorry, they're French. My bad, they're French. My eyesight's getting to me. Very interesting. This would be a long train. The Express Train D704, which ran from Bischofshofen to Vienna or Vienna to Bischofshofen. Nice set of cars to go with it. So some fairly long trains. You're looking at 9 to 12 car rakes or more. All right, so Roco, who has really been producing a ton of Vectrons. Interesting picture here. Showing just all the different liveries, and there's more here. So very cool. They're talking about that they've retooled some of their Vectrons for 2025. So some of the details they are updating. So up top in 1144, and then below it, one of the Tauruses. We've got a Class 1116, the E64, but we all call them the Taurus. Although I'm sure there's a few Puritans who it's an E64. And here is a Vectron. My friend Jim at Hover Motion just picked this one up. It's a cool livery. It is a very cool livery. I think it looks great with the wagons. It's pulling the picture below, so we'll see if they add some of those wagons. So here we have another express train, Swiss one, running Basel to C-Gleis. The classic 460 that is iconic for the modern, well, I shouldn't say modern, but, you know, 80s and on of the Swiss Railway. Yeah, a couple of nice sets of cars. Coaches, technically. An RE420 and an RE420 in a different livery. Now, I have never been, and I don't critique what they're showing. I just occasionally mention it. These older boxy, especially Swiss and some of the French and Dutch ones, they're not my aesthetic, but they are classics to most of the train people I go. So the 420 is another one. And here's a RE44 twin set. And then we have an RE66 along with a 482, which is a track. So I forget in Switzerland the 482, is that the 101 or is that, I forget which one it is, but it's basically the same locomotive. And here are two new Vectrons. You got your standard Swiss Cargo and then Swiss Cargo International. I always like the Swiss Cargo livery. It's simple, but it gets your attention. The one below it's a very cool image. And here is a 484, followed by another 420. And there is a Class 186, which is the same in Germany. It's another Trax, I believe. Crossrail. Kind of a cool livery. A 486, and then a Czech 372. I like the coloring on that. Now, if I could just get somebody to make an AC 371. I have a 371, but it was DC converted to AC. And I'm starting to have some problems with it, and that's expected with converts. But that was an Acme. 393. So there's your Vectron again, or 193 as we call it, but in Czech. I did get one Czech Vectron, but there was another one I should have gotten. This is the Cargo, which I don't necessarily need. It's sharp, but and then a 386, which is Trax 186 in Germany. RegioJet. I do like that one. And a set of Czech RegioJet coaches, which is interesting because RegioJets are really Austrian, as in the Railjet, which is the high-speed version. But I believe, I could be wrong, and somebody can correct me, but I believe they're made for Austria, and then Austria sublets them out to the Czech Republic. All right, some classics here, an E16 and a couple of coaches to go with it. And, a Metropa dining car as well. Cool. Nice looking cars there. Just had to go back and check something. E44 and the ubiquitous 151. 151s are just old workhorses. You see them in so many eras, era 4, era 5, and era 6. They're still going as we're in what is considered transition period between era 6 and era 7. They just keep going. I've got a 151 in the most modern livery. And then here's the one they were advertising at the beginning. All new tooling, redoing, celebration of the Class 144. Edition Freilassing. And 3 years ago, I probably would have only known that Freilassing was a town in southeastern Germany. It's actually a major border crossing. And when Joyce and I were in Germany in 2023, and then went down to Salzburg, and then came back up to go to Berchtesgaden and some other places, we kept going through Freilassing, and it's a major, major hub. And they're also doing major security checks on every train. It was delaying everything. Whoops, sorry about that. And Chiemgau, which is interesting because Joyce and I went to Chiemsee. Chiemgau. And then the 5-piece Oberammergau. More details. And a Class 244 and a Class 155. And there's a Class 143, another workhorse. They're still around. And another Class 155 in a more modern livery, Era 6. Well, that's kind of cool. I haven't seen those. I haven't seen a 155 in this livery. And a group of the Mint coaches. German variations. Very cool. Class 185 working. So there we go, a class 185 and a class 114, which I believe are, they say it's Era 6. I thought the 114s were pulled from service. But, I mean, since we're still Era 6, maybe they have been pulled from service. But I like that 185. It's German, but it says Switzerland on it. I would like to get a 185. I don't know if that's the one I would get, but all right, one more Vectron, and then below it another 151 in the Locomotion livery. Been seeing this livery a lot. I mean, 2 years ago I never saw it, and then we were in Germany, saw it a couple of times, and now we're seeing all these models with it. I don't know if it's a new company or not. Well, there's an interesting Vectron from Beacon Rail. That's an interesting one. 7193. And then there's a 185 in the Pressnitz version. Oh, what do we have here? A Volaro D. A Class 408. What have you got in store for us, Roco? And you are making an AC version. Uh-oh. I was so mad. They did a 101. This is the ICE E3 Neo. This might be a contender for my wallet. And a 4-piece set. So 4 cars and then 4, so you get an 8-piece set, or is there more to come? I'm kind of liking this, and the fact that they're going to do an AC version. I'm sure it's going to be expensive because their high-speed trains have really shot up in price. All right, let's see. Electric rack and pinion locomotive. A Euro symbol. That's interesting. Some cars to go with it. All right, so here is the BB 15,000. So let's see what we've got. French. The funny thing is, these are so popular. Class 15056. These are so popular to many, many people, especially the French railways. I never got into them aesthetically. And you see variations of it in Switzerland. Not this exact locomotive, but that design. And even in the Netherlands. And it just, aesthetically, it never excited me. I like that French, the BB 126163 down on the bottom there. Oh, there's an Italian loco. Will that be? And they're not going to release it in 3-rail. What a bummer. Era 5.6. That wouldn't look bad pulling my Australian night train, although I have a locomotive which technically does not go with it, I've been told. But, hey, I've got Italian cars and Italian loco. This would have matched the color schemes on it. It's great. Unfortunately, no AC version. You lost the sale there, Roco. And another Vectron, although they call it a Class 191 here. And E432, I don't know anything about it. So it's before and after World War II. And some passenger cars that fit the same era to go with it. Oh, I kind of like this. This is Luxembourg. I kind of like that. That's a Trax AC1. So it's a 4016 is the running number on it. Will they have some cars to go with it? I'll actually be going to Luxembourg in June. And there is the CAD drawing of the set. If we ride something like this, actually we won't be. We're taking German trains into Luxembourg and I assume back. All right, what do we have here? Rail Logique. Another Vectron, Railogix, and then a Class 1700. That is another icon of the Netherlands, and right below it, 1211. Oh, look at that. The Plan V, the Plan 5. That's an interesting one. Not my era, but it's kind of cool looking. And then below the two-piece set, you get a 1756 with a container wagon behind it. Will they sell the container wagon separately? Oh, okay, and now it's got two other cars with it. They say that's a two-piece stake set to go with the one as well. This is the problem when you have what's a fold-out page and you're getting it in half. But I do like all that there. All right, what have we got here? Electric locomotive, a Polish EP0501. Don't know anything about it. Big orange box. All right, here is a Swedish Vectron. And I forget what this particular train is called, where it's got the names here, Stockholm, Malmo, and so, it has a name, but I can't think of it right now. But very cool. Which is funny, it's a Swedish, but it's advertising traveling to Berlin. And a Swedish RC4. And now we get to the diesels. We're going to start right up with a little Austrian shunter, followed by a 2143. Very cool looking crane set there. Very cool. From Era 4, and some cabooses and such to go with it. Interesting. A Czechoslovakian T466 and a T669. A T478. So a lot of Czech here, and then a T679. That looks a lot like, not a Ludmilla, but I can't, sorry. But a Eastern European loco that ran through Eastern Germany and such. A lot of Czechs here. So yeah, these are all Czech. And there we go, a Class 218. Somebody had to make one this year, right? Class 218 in the ocean blue and cream or beige. Only in digital, 2-rail and 3-rail. A 108 and then a 118, which would be East German, because the nomenclatures were reversed. In Western Germany, 100 series were electric and 200 were diesel. In East Germany, 100 were diesel and 200 were electric. And then when they combined, so a 118 would become eventually a 218, although that might be a total different series. Interesting little rail car. There's a 234 and a V300. And then a French 6200 or 62000 series, and a 68 XXX series, 68540. Nice. And then Hungarian, you get a little diesel workhorse and some container or goods train, the 5-piece goods train. That's a cool little set. And we got Dutch and Polish. And then Slovakia. That's interesting. That's a current era too. I'm sure it's repurposed. That's just how it looks now. And then let's get some start sets to look at. So we got a classic 221 with some freight. We got a class 110 with some freight. This is nice starter sets. You get a Z21 basic, you know, the starter one, which you can pretty much still do almost everything you want to do digitally. And the Z21s, they're coming up in price. They used to be, especially the starts, were less than half the cost of an E-Cos or a CS3, but they're starting to catch up in price. They're still a couple €100 cheaper, but they're not half price anymore. All right, passenger coaches. What do we got? Well, we got a 4-piece Austrian version of the German IC. We've got some Czech coaches from Era 4. And then Eurofirma coaches from Era 6. I've already got those. And then here is a Danish double-decker set. I think this is CAD. That's very sharp. Hey, Jean Ricard, will I be riding any of these on our trip? I don't know. And some German coaches from the 60s and 70s. And then East German coaches from the same era. So we got a new luggage coach design. A goods train guard wagon and a luggage coach, East German. Era 3, so right after the war. And then more IC sets of East Germany. I kind of like the newer cab coach. That's something, if it's out when I'm in Germany and the price isn't bad, I might get that just to switch up with my Märklin one. But I'm not going to get all new coaches. But I've noticed a redesign in the cab car. And debating that. The System Technique. Now, those coaches would actually look kind of cool behind my Viba train set. That's cool. Those passenger cars, that says Era 6. I've never seen those. I don't know. BTE, that must be a private company. And then the car transport set, that's kind of cool. I can think of a train I'm getting that would go with. The Munich Nuremberg Express, convenient. I just bought one from Märklin a couple of years ago, so we'll see their version. You get a 101, and you get the new cab control design there. But I'm quite happy with mine. And there's the cars that go with it. So I've already got this, but, you know, Roco, it's going to look good. And some double-decker coaches again. The Munich Salzburg Express. We took a railjet. And there's the add-on set. And this is interesting. They've got the third add-on car because Germany is now, for years it was standard. It was the prototype. You would have 4 cars and a control cab, 4 double-deckers and a control cab. But now they've increased it to 5 cars and a control cab. So it's very, they're obviously doing that and catching up with this particular route. I'm not going to turn around by this. I've got 2 different sets of Deutsche Bahn, Regio double-deckers. I don't need another set. Uh-oh. What are the odds? What are the odds? A new Class 103. Of course, Märklin has just released a new Class 103 in this version, and I just bought an old version of 103. And here's a Rheingold set, because I've been kind of piecing together a TEE or Rheingold, the AKE Rheingold. And there's the 3-car set. Very cool. Very cool. And there's another 3-car set. That's interesting. I'm going to go back here a second. So there's 1 car, a first class coach, and then 2 3-car sets to give you a 7-car set. No, a 10-car set. Wow. Well, howdy do. That's very interesting. Very interesting. A nice little Dutch Era 3 passenger car set. That looks very sharp, to be honest, for the era it's representing. Very cool. And then a Polish set with a passenger coach. And then the luggage coach and a dining coach. That would make a cool little train for, although the first ones were Era 3, and then this second class coach down below is Era 4. But I'm sure you could combine them as a transitional. All right, so here we go into the freight. Postal coaches. So they're doing a new postal coach. Cool. Opens goods wagon, swivel type stake wagons, refrigerator wagons, tank wagons, more open goods, telescopic hoods, heavy container wagon, sliding wall wagon. You can see all these. Finally, we see some little Belgian goods train set and a coil transport. And then a couple of more sliding walls, and then some tankers, Swiss tankers. All very cool looking. Jura Cement. I actually rode past a Jura Cement site. Oh, those are nice. As freight goes, I seem to like container wagons. And then a whole flock of Czech, and we saw these earlier with a Czech locomotive, so there are those chemical tankers, or silo wagons as they're called. I always called them chemical tankers when I was a kid. So very nice. Very nice. And then a special České dráhy, Czech Railways. And some German. See, I could get any of these and run them on my layout. The thing is, with all the stuff I picked up from Herb, especially these things. Now, I do like those swivel roof wagons in the bottom left there. Unfortunately, although I do have a bunch of Era 4 freight stock now, I don't want to expand it. I've got so much now. And I got a bunch of Era 4 tankers as well. So the 3-piece set, the self-unloading hoppers, those would look cool. Era 6, and I've got some locos I could run those with. Era 5 and 6. So all of this is Era 6. I kind of like those dump wagons there. Those are just colorful. I might see about picking those up. It's a 4-piece set with 3 different logos. I kind of like that. That's a bit of a winner there. All this is Era 6, so any of these would look cool. The sliding tarpaulin wagons, very, very, very cool. The 2 tank wagons there. And then, yeah, the swivel roof wagons, Era 6. So there we go. That's stuff that I would not pre-order, but it's stuff I would definitely consider. Oh, those semi-trucks there. Articulated double pocket wagons. I like that. That's another winner there. And the off-road below it, that would be a cool set to have those added to my container wagon. So that's, again, things that if I see them at a shop, I would pick up. This is nothing I would ever pre-order, but if I saw them and felt the urge, I'd pop on them. So now we get some French. And then Hungarian. It's been a good day for the Hungarians in this catalog. We still got a ways to go. We're getting to the end. And we had some Luxembourgish passengers. So here's a little Luxembourger double pocket wagon. That's kind of cool. Era 6. And then a couple of Dutch items and a couple of Polish. More Polish all the way through. I do like those self-unloading hoppers there in the blue and yellow. Those are kind of cool. And then a little bit more Swedish stuff, and that one Swedish locomotive and passenger cars. And then you've got that sliding wall wagon in the same color scheme. Very cool. And more Slovakian. So the Slovakians are definitely getting recognized here. Some nice stuff there. All right, and then some quick narrow gauge sets. So I'll just kind of zip through these. I don't do narrow gauge. So many people do, and you know, when you're recreating the mountain areas, narrow gauge is the standards. The Zillertalbahn. Okay, so a very good catalog. I would say of the three, obviously I thought the Pico catalog was disappointing, not in terms of what they offered, but in how it was presented. Too many CADs and photographs and not enough models. The Märklin had a lot of very good stuff in it, just not a lot of stuff that appealed to me personally. The Roco, I mean, they have a lot of stuff to appeal to everybody. They had different eras, nothing Era 1, but a lot of Era 3, Era 4, and then a lot of modern era. Obviously, a couple of the big things that caught my eye were the control cab for the inner city, as well as that ICE 3 NOE or whatever, the Valero, the 408. Very, very interested in that one. I will have to see what its price point comes out, because at this moment no price points have been given. I will see. That might be something to add to my ICE fleet, as if I don't have enough. I was very disappointed when last year they released a very sharp deluxe ICE 1 and did not make an AC version of it, because I would have bought it. A lot of cool. There was some freight. There was some freight in there that caught my eye. There were some open wagons. You know, I don't know my nomenclature, and I don't work hard to memorize it. Those DB cargo ones, just the different lettering on them, nice bright red. Those would look good in a rake with some of the stuff I already have. So those are things, if I see them at one of my shops at a good price, hopefully some of the stuff will be out before June. So when I'm in Germany and I happen to see it in a shop, I can go, oh, I saw this in the catalog and I'm going to get it. But I will repeat myself. I think Roco had the better catalog this year in terms of just presentation and what they offered. A lot of people are going to be gawking, for lack of a better term, at the high-speed double-decker from Switzerland. I saw a lot of countries represented there. Very nice job. Very nice job to really draw in. Hungary's got a banner year in here. And yeah, just a lot of individual things to appeal across all the generations. So it's definitely a nice catalog. So that's it for the big three until the summer issues. Until then, I'm going to say, Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains. Take care, everybody.